All right, you ready to do this thing?
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
Are
It's
you ready?
nothing.
Don't want to test your confidence here. All right, we're doing it. Welcome to the Unpaid Nobody's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh. Purvis, how's your week going? How's everything?
We're big bulling. It's the first week without school in a minute, so the vibes are on. I don't have to stress about constantly typing all the time.
Yeah,
Can I just relax? How have you been?
just working. You could edit the podcast this week.
Honestly, if I could figure out how, again,
Yeah. Oh my god. So obviously,
this
feels
is a big
feel.
one.
This is a big episode. This is definitely like an episode that we've been looking forward to since we first started doing the podcast. And honestly, it kind of feels like in terms of like new releases, kind of feels like the tide's going out.
Yeah.
It's like Kendrick is dropping next week. I feel like everyone knows it. Uh
It's no surprise.
it's like
Sure.
you ever
Counting
watch
down the days.
like a movie about a tidal wave and like before the tidal wave comes, like the water goes all the way out.
Okay.
That's what it feels. That's what this week feels like for new releases.
That is quite a comparison.
Yeah, because like, is the only thing coming out Jack Harlow?
This week, the only album that I can confirm right now, and as we may mention, this is an early
Yeah, we're
recording
doing this one on
podcast.
Wednesday. There's an MCU
Yeah,
movie coming out, guys. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people.
it'd be like that. I'm not upset. I
Yeah,
completely understand. I will also be seeing it as soon as possible.
yeah.
I heard it got bad reviews, but that doesn't mean
I
much.
mean, we'll see.
Right, we're gonna go see it anyway. But
Yeah,
what I would say, yeah, it's an early week, so we don't have as much news as usual. But what is confirmed so far is a Jack Harlow. Do you have an opinion on this?
I'm gonna listen to it when it comes out. Like, I like Jack Harlow enough, and he's relevant enough that he's gonna drop an album. Like, I'm pretty busy this weekend, but if I have some downtime, I'm gonna have a lot of time in the car. So, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna put it on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll definitely. It piques my interest, but I don't know much of his past music that will make me go like, "Oh my god, I need to listen." To this."
Yeah,
So
100%. Yeah, that's totally fair. Like,
we're there.
it's
I'll give him his respect.
yeah, like, I like Nail Tech. I like the songs he drops. He's just not, he's not making music for us.
That is also very
Yeah,
true.
he's not making music for us, but he's good. So like, I'll listen to it. That's fine.
Now that you say that, it makes me think of a conversation that I had more recently.
Oh, elaborate.
Um,
Go on, go
and,
on, go
and
on.
and it might have been something we might have discussed in passing, but he's following the footsteps of Sir Drake,
Yeah, he's definitely.
and
We've had this conversation on the podcast that he's very much following in Drake's footsteps.
yeah, I was gonna say, and I feel like I talked about it more recently afterwards, where I don't think it's anywhere near the same extent, but the exact same demographic and how he's playing the streaming numbers. I feel like this is the new trend.
I mean,
Just want to see how he bounces off of it.
it's definitely the new trend. I mean, streaming is always going to buy us longer albums and shorter tracks.
I think it's gonna be like 45 minutes. That's what I'm gonna say. 45 minutes.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll be honest. Like, length is rarely like it can be something that's like, oh, like I want to listen to this album because like it's one of those really super short Kanye albums, or like, I love
Hmm.
a good short album. But also like sometimes someone does a double album and it really really works. I think in the era of streaming, you have a whole lot of people releasing very bloated albums, like just albums that have just so much on them. Cough cough, Drake. Cough cough,
I mean, we did just say he is following in the
cough
footsteps. So I
cough.
guess,
Wait, hold up. Now I actually have to cough.
even though we did just say he is following in his footsteps, I should correct myself and say I hope it's around 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, because anything longer, don't think Jack Harlow is worth more than my time. More than 45 minutes, if I'm being honest.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna depend on the quality of the album. If it's like super long, but you turn on the first 3 tracks and they grab you, it's like, oh wow, I'm in.
I guess it's true.
Yeah, and like, granted, like if it's a short album and like it doesn't impress you, you probably will finish it. That's definitely true.
Yeah, but then the replay value goes down and everything.
Yeah, but at least you finished it. At least you listened to the whole thing.
I can't say I finished it. Okay. No,
Yeah.
make a good point.
All right,
Um,
now tell me what this means. ASAP Rocky Rihanna project. I heard about that. It's a child. They're dropping a child together. Like
they are
that's what they're
having
doing. It's
they
this.
are having a child together.
It is this
You're
weird
not incorrect.
18-year long art piece where they create and form a human being and release it into the world.
It's more than 18 years, but you do make a good point. It is not the child. He literally just posted something on Instagram like today, saying tomorrow him, Rihanna are dropping something. It's very unclear, but
I
it's something that they were both working on.
I think it's the baby.
Well, it is the baby, but I hope that it's something more. I'll say this:
It could
if
be.
you
I mean,
told
if it's
me,
music, I'm into it.
no, yeah, and that's where it's turning out. That's where it seems like it's going to be. It's some kind of music, something project, single, music video, something along those lines. I will say this: if you told me 3, 4 years ago that Rihanna's next music releasing would be with her baby daddy A$AP Rocky, I would not have believed you. If I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
that seems awfully specific.
But just like in general,
Man,
anything around like her releasing with the baby daddy would
yeah.
be her next music, I would not have assumed that. But I mean, just happy with getting new stuff from her. If that is what this is, I could be wrong.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. That's the game you play when you record on a Wednesday because Doctor Strange is coming out.
Yeah, it is what it is.
God.
You're distracted.
No, I'm not distracted. I just don't know much about. I just didn't see this on Instagram today.
Oh no,
But like, look, I'll listen to it. But if I'm being honest, it's more for Rihanna than A$AP Rocky. I love Rihanna. Love her music.
I mean, everyone loves Rihanna.
Rihanna is like
It's a given.
not lovable. Like, she is perfect. She's a perfect person.
She is not lovable.
She is not unlovable. She's lovable. That's what that is. That's what that word is. Oh my god. Now,
And besides that, we have the Brent Fires.
yeah, Brent Fires is teasing. I think earlier this year he had like a similar thing where he teased like a June release date.
He's been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting having a Future and Brent Fires here.
Wow. That's dangerous.
Not good. It is not good.
That's dangerous. Did you listen to the Future album?
Yeah, I did. I finally did today. I broke down and I listened to it.
What did you think about it? I listened to a few tracks and it was fun. It seems better than the last couple Future projects I listened to.
I gotta listen to it more to agree with that. I don't know. At least off the first or second listen that I've had today. Fun is a great way to describe it. It's just a fun album.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be too overly done. I think some of his best songs is actually on the album, but I don't think it's anywhere near his best album.
Would you say it's like Dirty Sprite?
Yeah, almost at that level.
Wow.
But I'm trying to think. Let me pull up the track list.
Yeah, pull up the track.
Because there actually was some songs that I was like, wait, this is amazing. I'm pretty sure I was like screaming.
Pull them out for me. Pull them out for me.
Let's see here.
This is
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure this morning one of the first things I text you at like 6 this morning was "I'm that nigga." That's on Banks.
Yeah, that sounds good. Keep It Burning is really good.
Yes, and we actually got a sneak peek of that before it came out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really want to hear. I listened to the first 3 and I was I was at work and I had to go into a meeting and then like I left the meeting and then like I wasn't listening to music and then by the time I got back to my phone it was like, oh, what's going on? Like,
right.
But yeah, no, I listened to the first 3 songs. I liked it a lot. I'll be finishing it for sure. which is more than I can say for most future projects. We'll probably
I was going
skip.
to say, you're not a future person, so I am
No, not
impressed.
really. I'm not anti-future the way I am with some people. Like, for example, like I'm probably gonna skip this song with Kodak Black. Like, there's nothing. There's no way that song ends up being good.
I will say this: it's not terrible, but it is Kodak Black. So
Yeah, like you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know exactly what the fuck I mean.
I know, I know.
God,
Discuss our non-consent
with one Mr. Kodak Black. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be checking out the rest of the album. There's a couple Drake features. That's cool. Gunna and Young Thug. That's a
both of them are good.
yeah.
Both
Oh,
of the Drake features are good.
for a nut. Is that about squirrels?
No, and, the entire song with Gunna and Young Thug is literally about how they can buy out a girl basically for a nut.
Yeah.
So it's and I said this last week I think, but at some
It's
point you
Future.
kind of think Future's 38.
Yeah.
He's 38.
Yeah. You should
So
have. Well, doesn't he have a family? Doesn't he have like a few families? Like,
he has a few. That
yeah.
is true.
It's like, man, go be with your family. Don't make this music. Go hang out with your children. Like,
he cannot help but to be toxic. So
I mean, I guess. Like, look, I'm not hating too hard because like the album seems fun. The only thing is like the first song, it samples the same thing as a Killer Mike song. So I was like, all right, like,
you got me.
yeah, you got me. I'm here.
Okay, I didn't even know that. That's something more to kind of look into.
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, it's not like it samples the song, it uses the same sample. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I will be listening to your album, Mr. Not the Present. Did you watch the Sir music video? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Future is I gotta be honest, it's a silly name. Like,
come on. What?
Silly name.
There's way worse names, but
there are okay. Yes, I will concede to you that there are much worse, 100%. But it's a silly name. Like, I'm not even saying it's like a bad name per se, but it's just like.
No, honestly, I don't know what Future get that from, or if there's another.
It's like, what's your rap name? And it's like Titanium. It's just like one word. It just doesn't mean anything.
Look, he's Future Pluto, and he is the Toxic King. So just leave it at that.
But like, I just feel like if he's gonna have the name Future, I feel like more of his songs should be about time travel.
Brandon, we're not doing this on a podcast. This is stupid stuff that we talk about off the podcast.
That's just my thought. That's just, and it doesn't have to not be toxic. It can be toxic. It's just, also about time. Like, there's no reason
all
Gucci
of his lyrics needs to be
about happen at the year it was released. Like,
all right, I guess.
There's no reason. That could be about space flip flops. Okay, we can move on.
Thank you. And since you asked about Sir, do you know who Sir is by chance? Have you listen to him?
I've definitely heard him. Like, he's certainly featured on like a lot of stuff I've heard, but I'm not super duper familiar.
Sir is like one of my favorite R&B artists right now. He is amazing. I went to go see him live when he came to Chicago, actually.
Oh yeah,
really dope concert.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yes, sir. He signed to TDE.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he was signed to TDE, but I didn't want to sound silly.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we were literally just saying how Dreamville was like on top of the world.
Yeah.
We've gotten, since we said that, we've gotten a Schoolboy Q track. We've gotten a confirmed Absol album. We have now gotten this Sir song. SZA has been kind of teasing on social media, and now we have Kendrick, the head person, dropping an album. Did we jinx it? Like I feel like we
Uh,
jinxed it.
yeah, we definitely jinxed it. And like, let's be honest, like this Kendrick album, this is a big deal. Like,
I know, I know.
this is a big deal. Like,
I've been trying my best to play it down.
just because I'm thinking about it, right? And like J. Cole and Kendrick are two artists who, like, pure quality wise, I would say are of similar merit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, you just have to admit that this Kendrick album has so much more gravity, so much. It just feels like such a bigger event than the J. Cole album, at least to me.
It is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's heavy.
like because we had a great J. Cole album drop like in recent memory last year.
No, yeah, we love J. Cole.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah, it is Kendrick.
you know, like look, like this like Kendrick's album could be not as good as the off season, and it wouldn't be Kendrick's worst album. That's how good that album is. But
Yeah,
it just doesn't have like that oh shit. Like,
that wow factor. It's
yeah.
that oh shit, Kendrick's dropping.
Yeah.
I was actually talking about that when he first like put it on Twitter or whatever, and he like replied to that guy saying like, "Oh, Kendrick's retired," and then he like posted the fucking the PG Lang post.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like other rappers, were freaking out.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like
It,
that's Jesus.
yeah. He is just a force. He's a force to be reckoned with.
Also, it's been a very long time. People have been like dying for this.
Yeah,
This has
people.
been
Yeah,
years. We get
and
new J Cole every year.
yeah, we do. We get J Cole way more often. We've gotten like 3 J Coles since.
Yep, and a ton of features.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot since this last Kendrick album. We've gotten an entire Brockhampton. We've gotten. uh
He keeps saying that an entire.
It's my favorite union of measurement. Like,
The
it's
perfect
like,
measurement of time.
yeah. Well, it's true though. Like, until Kendrick and Frank Ocean dropped their albums, like,
Basically, half a decade. That's a
yeah.
measurement.
God,
Yeah.
I mean, well, speaking of this, let's segue because Mr. Ocean or rather,
And
Coachella confirmed that Frank is going to be there next year, 2023.
so we're going. Like we're going.
Yeah, we're definitely going.
No, like 100%. I will put in my PTO tomorrow.
Yeah, you get the tickets. I'll get the hotel.
Bet. Simple enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
this
yeah,
is a
so
this is a big deal.
yeah, this is a big deal. Do you think this confirms new music?
It's interesting that you bring that up because that was going to be my next question. I think it does. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah, because like,
He needs a reason to like.
yeah, he's
show his
definitely
face.
he's not someone who's gonna come out for no reason. Like, he's not gonna do this if there's not like a reason to do it. Now, you might know better than I would. But did he go on a big tour after Blondes? I feel like he did it.
No, I don't recall one. The last like footage that I've seen was him. What concert was that? God, now it's gonna kill me. Hold on, this up. Because it's like a super famous video. Last Frank Ocean concert. His last concert was August 11, 2013.
Ah, wow.
It was at the Flow Festival 2000. Oh, sorry, 2017. Jesus, that was way off. The Flow Festival 2017. That was the last time he performed live. I'm pretty sure this is the one with like the huge projector up on stage, but I could be incorrect.
Yeah,
But no one ever thought he was going to be back. Here we are.
here we are. Yeah, like that is literally a 10-year period. He went
Yes.
10 years without performing live, which is crazy for a professional musician.
The way I've thought about it, and this could just be copium because I'm trying to give some justification and not
Huff
feel
it.
sad.
Huff the copium, Purvis. Do it.
We technically were we were gonna get new Frank Ocean, 3 years ago when he was dropping those singles.
Yeah.
And we even had this whole theory with like the images on the bottom of the photo album and everything. Not the photo album, but the cover album.
Yeah, I remember what you were talking about. That was like a Da Vinci Code level moment.
Yeah, we were deep in it.
Yeah, like we had string up in your parents' house.
It wasn't that deep, but in my head, basically, we were there.
It looked like the Riddler's apartment.
Good reference. But yeah, we technically were gonna get some already, and I feel like that got delayed because I think his brother passed away, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever reason is whatever reason is. You know, he doesn't owe us anything.
Nope, he does not.
Besides keeping Blonde available, like besides keeping his like old stuff available, like
that is the bare minimum.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing he owes us.
But yeah,
I'm hoping this is not only Coachella. I'm hoping it's a tour. Like, I'm hoping that there's more chances to see Frank because he's an artist that I want to see what he can do with the format of a live show. But then again, you know, like maybe he just doesn't love music for that. Maybe he loves music because he loves having something to say and being able to tweak it and master it and perfect it and then release it. And he's not as big of a fan of the whole live show thing, which, you know, is a shame, but what can you do?
And considering his music, that actually, with what you're saying, his music isn't exactly a live. Well, I guess it could be a live show kind of effect, but I feel like it's a very interpersonal, not crowd focused type of music.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially after seeing Donald Glover live and seeing like how he performed his songs, I definitely think like there is an incredible maximalist show that Frank could put on. I just want the chance to see it, and I would really like to see it in my home city because, like, God, how many times have I driven down the Lakeshore Drive and listened to Frank Ocean? How many times have I done it just to do that? Like,
I was gonna say, literally just to listen to Blonde or Channel One's either one.
Yeah. So like, this is a little tangential, but like, this week I got really into like researching like development around the city, like building new venues and parks and apartment buildings and stuff like that, and how it gets done and where the money comes from and all that stuff. And I realized that there was this movement to basically take away Lakeshore Drive and put a bunch of parks around the lakefront, which I think would be great to have like more of this beautiful lakefront open to people and not cars. But man,
I don't know.
I'm gonna miss it.
I don't know. That's tough for me.
Yeah, it's tough
because like I don't live downtown, so what happens down there doesn't affect me that much. I just work down there.
Yeah,
and like Lakeshore Drive is an excellent substitute than freaking taking the 90, trying to go north to south. I think it's the 90.
Yeah. Oh, especially so for where you're at. Especially where you're at. Yeah.
So it actually serves a good purpose for me.
Yeah.
On top of like just cruising down LSD listening to music.
I remember like, yeah, I mean that's definitely for sure. I was looking at their, what was that? The proposal. Basically, they had some data that suggested that LSD might be less useful than people think. Which, you know, I'm open to hearing that. I'm open to looking into it. I don't pretend to even understand it. But
I mean, that's interesting that you say that. I wouldn't have even taken that into consideration.
Yeah. Man, but I'd love to have a lakefront, like, open to the public with public parks. That's, like, gorgeous. Absolutely. But where am I going to drive and cry and put on nights? Like, I can't change my whole way of life. Like, I can't afford therapy right now.
I would say, and like, at least the thing to counter it that I would think of right off the bat, we have so many, so many beaches, like, along the coast, like on the north and the south side. So,
yeah,
I can understand the city plans is, of course, bring in more tourism and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
More money.
Did you
park split.
Did you hear about the casino?
No.
They're
What? What's going on?
so. Do you know about the casino development in the city?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, we're gonna take a quick 10-minute detour. Uh,
Yeah, that's fine.
so right now there are three different bids for casinos to go up in Chicago, and the Lori Lightfoot and the entire administration really want to get one built because it's such a huge tourist attraction, right? And there are three different bids. There was one that was on the river over by like State Street and Michigan Avenue,
Okay.
like River Northish kind of area. There was
Okay.
the Hard Rock was going to build something across the street from Soldier Field, and that one was also
Eh,
and that one was also going to include an option for them to buy Soldier Field if the Bears leave, and then turn that into an entertainment venue connected to the casino.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
Yeah, that's a.
Yeah.
And then there was a third one, the one that looks like it's going to win, which is in River West, which is a very fancy part of town. Right? So, first off, I just want to say this. It's really fun to just talk about a development that's not going to displace any poor people because all these are rich neighborhoods.
Yes.
So, like, that's an inherently fun thing. And also, I think casinos are great tax revenue generating services, and I think gambling's a right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm down with all that.
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to be building a casino in River West. The good news is it has a lot of private money behind it. So
Okay.
the city is going to pay it has the smallest price tag for the city. But it's
West is tiny.
yeah, but it's going to be fairly large from what I've seen.
Of course, yeah. I'm looking at the map now.
Yeah. One of my buddies lives over there, and he's like, man, it's going to really fuck up traffic over by my apartment. And I'm like,
for sure.
I'm like, well, then move.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely is going to fuck up the neighborhood over there.
Yeah.
I will say, at least just hearing it right off the bat, I don't really like the Soldier Field option. My biggest issue with Soldier Field, just as a stadium, I've talked about this a lot with my friends, and they disagree, but I still stand firm to it. I don't like the Bears at Soldier Field, just simply because Soldier Field is in a spot that is very difficult to actually commute to.
Yeah.
Like anytime you do anything at Soldier Field, you have to mentally prepare yourself. You're gonna be walking at least 2 miles.
Yeah, that's the benefit of Soldier Field because we've gone at least once, and whenever I go, we always just park like in the South Loop and walk across Grant Park, and you're gonna walk probably 3 miles. It's probably 1.5 miles each way, but when you walk out, that 1.5 mile walk to the South Loop is so far from the traffic off ramps from Soldier Field that you're not in traffic anymore. You don't have to worry about anything. So that's the one thing I like. That's the one benefit of Soldier Field.
I hate walking in general, and I feel like coming from at least where I live, it makes it a lot more difficult for people who are not in the city to actually attend these events because commuting is not that great when you go farther out into the suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
no, I agree. But I'm pro the Bears going to Arlington Heights.
Bet we're on the same page.
I just think it's going to be a better stadium. I think Soldier Field is just kind of decrepit. All right.
We've talked about this before. It's in the middle of the worst situation. It's a lake, the museum campus, the expressway, and then nothing.
And Northerly Island. That's the other thing.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the news. The thing that ties into our main topic. And that is we got Kendrick dropping next week. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Don't know what that means.
What it means, but it's provocative.
And on Twitter, it sure looked like he is teasing that this is a double album. Purvis. What's going on? Is this going to be literally Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers?
I, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's 2 CDs or not, but if it is, Lord have mercy on our souls.
I just
This man made us wait years, and I was about to drop a double album.
yeah.
If this is true,
Is okay, so question. You're no look, when we brought up the Jack Harlow album, you thought about it in terms of how long it was gonna be. So you're clearly someone who has a preference for short albums. When it's someone
Brandon,
like Kendrick Lamar, though,
Brandon, I don't care what Kendrick decides to do. I'm going to listen to it. He's one of the rare exceptions. It doesn't matter. It
yeah,
doesn't matter. None of it matters.
yeah,
All the previous standards or whatever it might have in place, throw it out the window. You don't know what to expect. I was dying, like the TikTok you sent me over the week, where someone was like trying to mentally prepare for the
yeah. And
album.
he's like listening to smooth jazz.
Like literally like the smoothest, like classy jazz, and he's like snapping his fingers. He walks off camera, comes back with a do rag on, and now he's listening to '90s rap. I don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah,
man, but I'm here for
it's
it.
man, it is exciting. It is exciting. All right, let's just get dive into it because I'm so excited to talk about this album. This is one of my favorite albums. I have this album mounted in my living room.
Yeah, you do.
I have a vinyl copy of this album mounted in my living room right now. And we are
Okay.
talking about Kendrick Lamar, seminal work, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. Second album out of 4, soon to be 5. Purvis.
It's Brandon.
Do you like this album? You think this is good? You think it's a good album? You think it's good music?
I think, and it's funny that you said it's the second album because technically it is the second album. Overly dedicated did come out first, but I consider overly dedicated a mixtape in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I consider this album as Kendrick's introduction into the rap industry as like an actual real major artist.
Yeah.
And I think he is one of the fastest growing, and rightfully so. But one of the quickest, like, oh, here's my first album, because I consider it his first album, my first like major release, and it is already considered a classic after release.
Yeah. Well, he certainly was not. He was certainly not a mainstream artist before this album.
Right.
Because I was already following Kendrick Lamar. I actually was not a huge fan of Section 80 when it came out.
Oh yeah, Section 80. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about the wrong.
Section 80 was
Right.
his first album, and while Good Kid, M.A.A.D City is definitely what made him a mainstream act, like Section 80 is definitely an album, like in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely
Overly
skipped that.
Dedicated, I think, actually is a mixtape.
Okay.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And Overly Dedicated, it's fun, but
But nah. It's
to
not good.
me, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but like at the time, it just strikes me as like overly lyrical, miracle kind of stuff.
Okay.
But by the time I heard the music on Good Kid, M.A.A.D City, that changed everything. So, what was the first song you remember hearing from this?
Swimming pools, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, same. Same. Is this
And,
something?
and what an introduction.
Yeah. So I keep forgetting like how much younger you are than me.
This is true.
How old were you when this dropped?
How was I when this dropped? Let's see. This dropped 2012. I was 15. I was going into my freshman year. I was young.
So was this album readily available to you? Was this something your parents let you listen to?
Parents didn't let me listen to anything. Let's get that fact out there. let, let me start off with that. Lay it down as some background information. But what I would say, this was early in my career of actually having my own music. I've talked about it many times, starting off with like a PSP and kind of branching off as that. This was really early in my career, so I didn't understand the gravity, but I did know it was really good.
Yeah. And
And
I definitely had a very similar, very very similar response. Where like when it dropped and I heard the music, I instantly loved it.
mm,
But it took me a while to even just get the depth of like what was on the album, and
yeah,
also
I,
it
all
took
the topics are very deep.
yes, and it also took me a while to get like the gravity of like an artist who was just a few years earlier on the Triple XL releasing an album of this just pure. I mean, it was an instant classic.
Yeah, it's very rare that you actually get an instant classic when
Yeah,
it comes out immediately, and that's
like there
like,
were everyone was saying that this was a classic like a year after it came out,
and
right? Like,
rightfully so.
yeah, for sure, rightfully so. And like, look, we've had it now for this year is going to be the 10-year anniversary of it.
Hmm.
You know, and I think it took me like a couple months to listen to
I
it.
don't know how long it took for me to like fully grasp it, but I will say I didn't understand the deeper meaning of his music until much later, like much later.
I think,
Um,
yeah, you know,
yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of like super interesting. Like it took me probably 2 3 months to like listen to it because I distinctly remember hearing swimming pools at a party in the middle of like January February 2013. So it was shortly after it came out, and then from there I just listened to it over and over and over again, and it was one of the albums I listened to constantly for probably like 2 3 years. Like, and at the end of 2013, I remember Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and I would just constantly play it with the subtitles on and listening to this album, and just kind of like seeing like how, like once I kind of saw like how the themes in the songs reflected like what was going on in the game, obviously unintentionally. I was able to like put together like what this was trying to say on its own, and then able to get like the depth of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
someone
so
had to make me aware of what I was looking at. It's like a magic eye puzzle.
okay, that's an interesting way to put it. And what were some takeaways you had in that awakening moment?
Man, I think it was just. I think like the first thing was about like just finding this almost like poetry in like the day to day life of people who live in lower income communities, because where like the album does have like a story per se, but it feels much more like a vignette. It feels a lot more like just vibes and like bobbing and weaving around the ideas than like actually telling a story a la like To Pimp a Butterfly. Does that make sense? I feel like that didn't make sense.
I'm kind of understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
just
feel
like I think like the best example was just like how uh how they always bring up Shireen in all the sketches,
hmm.
but you never actually hear Shireen. You never actually hear about his time with Shireen. He raps about her, but he doesn't rap like to her, or like we don't ever see her. It's all like him talking about her like as like an event. You see what I mean? Like it's not really seeing a lot of the action until it is when you get to "Dying of Thirst" and the song right before it.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, I feel like at least with this album in terms of storytelling, he's one of the best like artists we have in the game in terms of like painting a picture.
Yeah,
And this is meant to be his childhood album, explaining like his childhood and upbringing. But it's not necessarily like, and this is how I interpret it. I could be wrong, but it's not like him. It's a kid like him from the city. and that's kind of like that goes along with the name of the entire album and just like the
Yeah.
themes that kind of go in and out throughout every song. But like this is the story of an average kid and some things that he might encounter. Some of the themes, whether it be crime related, girl related, drug related,
Yeah. Which is,
all those themes keep coming back up.
I definitely think that's certainly the case. I don't think this is meant to be like autobiographical, but certainly like very clearly inspired by his life.
Hmm.
Like one of the things that was interesting though is I remember it was very early Twitter, like 2013 Twitter, and like people were talking shit about Black Hippie because like Kendrick Lamar doesn't smoke weed, right? And people were giving him shit for that for some very silly reason. And I remember
That's
him
the internet.
like talking like in an interview and saying like that story he has about like the first time he smoked a blunt it was lace and he started foaming at the mouth. Like that's real. Like that's a real thing that happened to him and that's why he doesn't smoke. Like so I think that's very, very interesting. But I definitely agree. Like for example, like the character like his brother dies and I don't think Kendrick has lost a brother.
Right.
Right? So why don't
Mm.
we run down the tracks, like track by track? I want to hear your thoughts on each one.
Okay, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So first track, Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter. It's like such a bizarre opening
It is.
because it's not very high energy. It's very like dark, mysterious. It almost feels like it's setting a scene. And another thing is on the album, in the writing, it literally says a short film by Kendrick Lamar. So I
Yes.
think describing it with cinematic language is kind of like how he intends us to talk about
Yeah,
it.
I completely agree
Yeah,
with that.
but it definitely feels like a very dark, ominous, like midnight in the summer kind of vibe. But what are your thoughts on it? Like, how do you feel about it?
Um, I will say, and this is kind of looking at it in a future tense where we've seen other projects and other openers by Kendrick Lamar. I
Yeah.
don't think this is his strongest opener.
Oh
Start off
no,
with that.
yeah, I would definitely agree.
Um, Not saying it's bad, but knowing that I can look back now and think of like other openers being much stronger,
Yeah,
I don't think the song is bad. I don't think a single. Okay, I'll just say this: not a single song on this album is bad.
no, there's not a single.
Um,
I think this
right.
might be the only song in the album that's merely very good.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know,
And
like
it kind of shows for me. It's
yeah,
not the strongest opener in my opinion, but it is literally, and we've kind of talked about it before. How like this is him introducing Shireen,
yeah,
and
and
this is
it's
a
him
pretty
telling the
big name
story.
that goes throughout his
Yeah,
pretty big name that goes throughout his entire like discography.
yeah, no, definitely, and it's definitely this is the song that sets up the entire story. Like you could kind of be forgiven for not picking up on the rest of the story without hearing this song
Hmm.
because you don't really know what they're talking about without like hearing what happens in this. So you know this song and the last song, or is it the last? Yes, the last song in like the proper track listing, not the deluxe edition.
Hmm.
Uh, they feel like pure storytelling.
Okay.
All right, now let's get to the second song. Probably is this the biggest hit on the album? Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Either that or swimming pools. I think
Yeah,
those two are like the biggest ones in terms of streaming numbers,
yeah.
like the hits, I should say.
Man, what is there to say about this song? Like this is a classic. This is just such a fun. You know, it's interesting because it's so like fun and like summery, but it does have substance.
Oh yeah, like there's plenty of important messages throughout this song.
Yeah,
I feel like this was one of the songs that, how can I put it? I'm trying to find the right words to kind of express how I feel about it. I think this serves its purpose in terms of, as it's the it's the second song on the album. I'm glad that he kind of put this at the beginning because it is a it's a simple message. Like you said, it's meant to be light and like easy to listen to a summer song, but it has a lot of like deeper themes within the actual music that it kind of eases your way into the further conversations that's going to happen throughout the album.
Yeah, 100%. And what I think is, and I think this is the first example of it, is the thing that makes Kendrick Lamar like so interesting to me is how he doesn't have to sacrifice his substance to make something that just plays to the crowd.
Mm.
You know, something that can be enjoyed purely for the sake of enjoying it. Like he can do that and give you like a relatively interesting message. And like, look, I'm not saying "Bitch Kill My Vibe" is like the deepest song on the album, but like compared to the other songs that were on the radio that year, like how many songs had the same kind of message? Like how many songs had like the same level of lyrical quality that were getting the same amount of plays that weren't also by Kendrick Lamar?
That's a good thing to point out.
Yeah, because like that's another thing is that like I remember calling a girl like in the summer of 2013, and like her like tone was "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe." Like it was like a big hit, you know, like it wasn't just like because sometimes it can feel like Kendrick Lamar is someone only like rap nerds care about, but like no, this was like huge. Like
he appeals to the general public as well,
you
and
know?
like it's interesting that you say what you said because Kendrick has abilities, and I don't know how he does it so well, but he can make a serious topic easy to listen to and like enjoyable to listen to. A lot of times
Yeah,
when you listen to music, you just kind of like want to vibe.
yeah,
You don't want to think too hard. It's kind of your escape from reality for some people. Like you just want to enjoy the actual music.
yeah.
And so a lot of times when other artists talk about deeper subjects like this, it's not as easy to listen to.
No, it's
It
not.
may not be as enjoyable.
You know, and
And
like
yeah, go ahead.
no, I can finish your thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there's important topics on here that like if you're just listening to it and you're vibing, obviously you're gonna miss it. And it's still enjoyable and you still understand the lyrics, but like it's very important. Like throughout the chorus, it opens up the chorus like I'm a sinner, so I'm gonna hit sin again. So an
Yeah,
average person, that doesn't mean much. But like as someone who grew up in a church and like the topic of like sometimes obviously like I'm a Christian and like I want to do the right thing, but sometimes like they just don't kill my vibe. Like I want to enjoy the moment, and that's a very like overlooked thing that people don't realize. Like there's
no,
topics that are very serious in here that like
yeah.
you need to realize.
And you know, the funny thing is that like this song is like kind of about that. You know, it's kind
Yeah.
of about like having like all these things you want to like all these things you want to say and do, but having to do it in this format that could rob it of its meaning. You know, when he talks about like, oh, but the colorblinds hang it. You know, it's like, oh, that's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I think I have another thing. Fuck, man, I just want to listen to this album now. Like it's so good. It's just so good. And like I'm just looking at the track list, and it's just like, oh my god! Like we're gonna talk about every single song. Like some of the bonus tracks are classics. Like
Let's stick to the original.
yeah. All right.
You
Now,
can speak on backseat freestyle.
dude. Oh my god. So first off,
You literally text me this in the middle of the week.
I love this song. This song. First
Martin
off,
had a journey.
well, first off, like it bars aside, like it's kind of crazy because like it is just a song where he just like has bars, but the art of it is almost purely in the framing of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like think about it, like the song itself is just bars, It's just
Yes.
like your very typical, like very braggadocious rap song, right? It's I don't want to say it doesn't have substance because it very, very much does. But the substance is not in the lyrics. It's in how it's positioned in the album. Where this is supposed to be an insight in like it's literally him doing a freestyle in the backseat of some dude's car. Which like we've all been
That's
there.
how.
We've
Yeah.
all been there.
And the thing is, that's crazy that you literally say that because like people don't understand how deep this album goes. I haven't even mentioned, and this is my favorite part about the album. This was like the introduction to the voicemails. Nobody was doing this like that I know of before this album,
Which was
and he
oh the
introduced
voicemails?
the concept of having voicemails. And the end of the last song literally ends with one of the voicemails be like, "Hey, grab the CDs, hop in the car, we're finna freestyle," and then backseat freestyle comes on, and it's just a flex song.
Yeah.
Like this album flows a lot deeper than the surface level, like introspect. Like you need to look at this and really understand how amazing this is as an art form.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite bar on Backseat Freestyle?
Oh God,
Because there's so many perfect ones.
Jesus, you're gonna make me pick.
I'm just gonna say it.
You can say yours.
I'm just gonna say I pray my dick is big as the Eiffel Tower. Like
He
I'm
can't
gonna
play
say
the
it. I'm just gonna say it.
He can't play the chorus. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The introduction of verse 2, that I've got 25 lighters on my dresser, yes sir. Put fire to that ass body cast on the stretcher. Like, personally to me, that's a really big deal because, like, I don't know if you know, like, the background to 25 lighters, but that has been sampled in so many classic
Yeah.
songs. Like, oh my god,
They the end of verse
this
three.
man connects everything.
The last four lines in verse 3 is also crazy when he goes double time and it's like killing everything for yeah I'm not gonna do it but like when he starts selling out Compton I'm like Jesus Christ this is incredible.
Yeah.
What,
Could you imagine actually being in the car, this man is in the back seat?
dude I'd kill us like I'd be like what are you doing like this is very good like are you spelling like
Heck nah. A banger, to say the least.
yeah, it's the banger. And the other thing is like it's also like just so intelligent because like the album has a story and this song that is just a pure banger. It moves the story along. All right. Time for the art of peer pressure. Purvis.
Yeah.
Tell me. Tell me. Because this song's interesting. It's like a fake out song.
Yeah, the art of peer pressure. This is the one that took me a minute to like really understand. Like this is the song where like it. This is the one that woke me up where I was like, hold on, no, this is deep. This goes very very deep. Where his like storytelling, it it is insane. The story where he breaks down. He just started working at this job. He's real cool with the managers. His first week, his friends is telling him to rob the store. And like the breaking down how it all happens. This is the one that you got to sit down and actually read the chorus on.
Yeah. No, this one is it is absolutely like it's heavy storytelling and you can tell because like it starts with like everybody sit your bitch ass down and listen to this like you can tell like
it's funny.
Yeah,
I was actually gonna say let's start the podcast with that.
Yeah. My god. And like I love how it starts with like the chorus and you think it's gonna be in like another Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, like especially because like that one line where it's like one day it's gonna burn you out. It's just like it's very smooth. It's very sing-alongable. And then it's like, but I'm with the homies right now, and like everything changes, and it becomes like the epitome of like very like nocturnal and dark. Definitely reminds me of those nights being out with people I shouldn't be at a time I should not be out. You know what I mean? Like,
and that transition that plays into that feeling is very crucial. He's saying, normally I do this, but I'm with the homies right now. Like I'm normally the good kid, but I'm with the boys. Like I'm out here just doing really stupid stuff,
Yeah,
like getting chased by cops.
yeah. It's an incredible feat of storytelling, but gotta say sometimes not necessarily because this song is weak, but because of the next song, sometimes I'm like, I gotta listen to Money Trees first.
Okay, how do you feel about money
Money
trees?
Trees is incredible. Oh my god. First off, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. Best chorus on the album.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, best chorus on the album. Including swimming pools, including Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, including Poetic Justice. The Halle Berry or Hallelujah. Everybody gonna respect the shooter. But incredible. Incredible.
Well, this is one of the first songs that's kind of speaking about money, just in general,
Yeah.
like or mainly focused on money.
Yeah. And I think this song is important because like I think it gets to the idea that the reason why these kids in this situation in Compton have to do the things that they're doing, it's not because they're just like bad kids. It's because they want money, but really they need money. Like
Yeah,
because like you need money in this world.
and it's very interesting how it kind of speaks about how money changes people.
It kind of
It kind
does,
of
yeah.
touches about how crucial money is, more focused, obviously, like you said, in this world, but for coming from the the environment that he comes from, like money can literally change it. Not even a lot of money, a little bit of money can change everything about the situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't my personal philosophy is I don't believe that. I don't think money changes people. I think money reveals people.
Well, I would say change the situation. Maybe
Yeah.
not the person, like you said,
Yeah. But
but
yeah, no, I
how
know
they
what
can
you mean.
handle.
I know what you mean. Like
How do you feel about J Rock's verse?
it's an incredible verse. It's really just everything about it. Every single bar in it. Like, what else is a thug to do when you're eating cheese from the government? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so perfect. Like, it this song is a masterpiece. Like, low key, I'm thinking about it right now. I think it's top. It might be the best song in the album. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe
That's tough. I cannot pick that song. I can't pick a favorite song at all.
it's a very hard to pick. But like now that I'm thinking about it, though, like it's real good, man. It's real good. The verse is crazy dense. It's crazy like storytelling. The chorus is so smooth. An amazing guest verse. It's a perfect song.
And then it jumps into
A very
Poetic
different kind of
Justice.
song. And like the kind of song I don't think we're ever gonna get from Kendrick Lamar again.
You don't think so?
You know, like it doesn't seem like he likes to get into the R&B roots as much anymore. Well, I don't know. He had a couple. He had that one song on Damn. There was one song on Damn that was kind of like it.
The Love?
Yeah, love.
Oh, yeah. It took me, I'll be honest, it took me a while to like this song. I don't know why. It just didn't connect right away. But after listening to it a couple more times, I figured out this is supposed to be like the song dedicated for Shireen.
Yeah,
Like, this is a really good, like, love song.
it's a very touching song. It's a very smooth song. Also very lyrically dense though.
Hmm.
And you know, it's Kendrick Lamar. That's what it's gonna be. And really, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you with another one of these
Oh, boy.
hot takes. Best feature on the album.
Drake?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it. I would say
No,
that.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it to you. I won't
yeah.
even, like, question that. He is probably the best feature.
Now, can I confess something to you?
Go ahead.
I've never seen the movie Poetic Justice.
I'm not upset with you.
So
I am a little
explain to me if
disappointed.
there's anything I'm missing. Like,
I mean, you don't need to see the movie to really understand it, I would say.
yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's any direct connections to the movie. Not that I at least that
yeah,
I can think of right off the bat. Um, but it's a great thing or a great subject to kind of build off of because that movie alone plays a really big role to the community that he's coming out of.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
all intertwined.
And you know what I really like? Man, it's just kind of, once again, like the sequencing on this album is top tier because you go from like a very dark song to a song that kind of keeps that darkness but is much much smoother, and then you get into something like this which is pretty much R&B, and then you get into Good Kid and Mad City, and
Which is the
I love how on the outro skit like uh it's him leaving Shireen's where he kind of gets involved in this shit.
mm-hmm, the
Yeah,
wrong
it's
place
like,
at the wrong time.
it's like life punches you in the face at the worst times.
Well, he was. Some might question he was in a place where he shouldn't have been,
I
and
mean,
these are the consequences that kind of happen.
yeah. And then that's what happens when we get to Good Kid, Mad City.
So
And
this is the peak of the album, I guess you can say.
this is like this is like
I would
the,
say this is the climax of like the story.
no, the climax is Sing About Me, for sure.
Okay,
This
that's
is,
so tough
this
because
is, fuck, I'm trying to explain what I'm saying without getting very into film theory or like screenwriting theory.
screw it, just jump into
Okay, so
it.
like in movies, like there is like this section, like if it's like a 2 hour movie, like between the half hour part and like the 90-minute mark, you're gonna have this area called fun and game, which is like this is what it's about. Think about like Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. Uh,
They should have seen it.
like
So now,
after he gets to the bridge and Doctor Strange and he encounters Doc Ock, and then Doctor Strange is like, okay, now go get all the villains, and that's what the movie's about. And then when the climax happens, the movie changes.
mm-hmm,
You see what I mean? Like that
mm-hmm.
is, uh, that's what this is. This is like, this isn't the climax of the story. This is what the story is.
It's the message behind it.
This is not necessarily the message, but it's just like, yeah, this is the like like just, yeah, I guess like almost the message, right? Like this is like the setting. This is like what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. This is like, I think the purest caps. Like it almost feels like you get the entire experience of the album just listening to these two tracks.
I was literally about to say, if you take these two tracks back to back, it is the album.
It got, yeah, it is like a very perfect distillation of the album. Also, just full stop. I have never listened to these songs separately, or at
Yeah,
least like very so rarely.
interesting. I haven't either. I didn't think about it, but now that you pointed out, yeah, this is a song that you would have to listen to back, not back to back, but as a pair.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just, and they're very very different songs. Uh, which one do you like more?
I personally like Mad City more.
Dude, Mad City is great. Yeah, like Good Kid is great. Like Good Kid is like, it's the thesis. That's what I should have said. It's the thesis
There
of the
you go.
entire, yeah, of the entire album is in Good Kid, Mad City. Him talking about like getting jumped, him talking about like having to deal with the consequences of being on the street. Whereas like the last few songs are just about like his life. Now it's like we start to get the conflict.
Okay.
And then of course like M.A.A.D City is where it gets real.
So, you want to break down M.A.A.D City, or even attempt to?
Man, no. No. I mean that opening,
what parts
that
stand out?
the opening. Those
Okay.
first 5 lines are is probably the greatest opening to any track ever.
It actually is.
Yeah. When Schoolboy Q does the yak 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 yak.
We've talked about this. I don't know why Schoolboy Q is so good at this, but like his like screams and his repetitiveness is insane.
Yeah.
It just gets the people.
And
It's
like
amazing.
it's never better than on this one.
So he opens up the first verse and he's literally saying, "Let me take you down a trip to memory lane."
Yeah.
And man, does it tell a
Yeah.
very clear, detailed story.
Yeah, it really
Oh my god.
does. And there's a pretty pronounced beat switch in the second half.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
And I do love like how it gets very 90s Compton G Funk kind of. You know, it starts with like very modern, like aggressive, like an aggressive beat, but I love like how like when it flips, it goes into that classic Compton sound. It's perfect. Yeah,
Even it's funny. It literally says like this ain't nothing but a Compton thing, and it literally shows you in the music the kind of culture there is there on the West Coast.
yeah. And I mean, and this ultimately is like when we talked about like that experience where he was foaming at the mouth. Like this is where he talks about it.
Yep.
Yeah, like so. I mean, god damn, this is just a perfect song. But let's get to probably one of the showstoppers, and probably like one of the easiest ones to talk about: swimming pool.
hmm
Yeah. So one second, let me just. I'm gonna. Cause I got a question I gotta ask you, but I gotta pull it up exactly. All right. So like, why are you babysitting only 2 or 3 shots? I'm gonna show you how to turn it up.
Yeah.
this
Like
this was on
this
the
song's
radio. This was on the radio when I turned 21.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I should not have survived that summer.
I
when
think this
he
is one of his best party songs,
the which is crazy
and it's
because
whole
it's
discography.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Which is crazy because like it's about how awful that is.
I was literally about to say, and
Like
I've talked about it before. It's so easy to listen to. This is like,
this is
and
about
I
the
know we've
dangers of
talked about this.
alcoholism and partying.
Literally, bro, like addiction and like can mess up your life and like how bad it actually is and how it affected his family. And like you're sitting here at a club taking shots to the song. Like it's the same kind of like feeling as Hey, or not Hey, what song is that? Is it Hey Ya?
Yeah, the hey yeah, it's a song about depression
Yeah,
that's
or
like
like the whole song is about depression and like the bad parts about love. And he's like, y'all don't want to listen to this, y'all just want to dance. And it's just an upbeat song and you just party.
yeah. And like but man, it is just such a cool chorus. Like
it
it's like so
is.
good though. Like I understand like what you're saying, Kendrick. Like I get it. Like 100%. But like why'd you make the song so fun to drink to? Like
I was gonna say
you ever
he's
smoked weed to
almost
this
like
song? Not as
counteract
good.
what he was meant to
Like
do. Actually, oh yeah.
yeah, so have I. That third line when it said backstroke every day in Chicago, that's about me. Like,
Yeah. This is you deep in your sorrows, deep in your bottle.
that's me. But it really is just like the encapsulation of like Kendrick Lamar. Like, who else could make a song like criticizing a culture, and then that song is like celebrated by that culture?
It's very rare that happens.
Yeah, and I
But
think
he is one of those people that can pull it off.
now, but you know, once again, getting back to the sequencing of the album and how fucking spectacular it is. I think it's perfect how swimming pools like transitions purely into "Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst."
Okay, so this, like you said, this would be the climax, right?
Yes, I 100% think this is the climax of the story.
Okay, so and I kind of put this in the doc as well. Do you think this is probably one of his most important songs that he's ever released?
Importance?
Well, maybe not important, but
I think like if we're talking about like important, like as far as like having a message, yeah, for sure, for sure. I think the thing is like I think there's a whole lot of songs on "To Pimp a Butterfly" that meet that criteria. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like for sure, like more so than like if we're talking about like "Damn" and "Section 80." Yeah, I would say 100% this is his most important song. But then there's just so many on Butterfly.
So much, yeah, that
Yeah,
is true. That is
but
true. But at least up to this moment, I feel like this is his biggest
yeah,
like song in terms of like that storytelling,
yeah,
in terms of like wrapping up the album.
because it's
There's so
literally
much actual meaning behind this.
and there's so much to it because he's literally telling multiple stories.
Correct.
Like he's rapping, like he's doing verses from like all these different perspectives. Like the first verse is from the perspective of the guy whose brother dies.
Yep.
The second
So
verse is from
Keisha song.
Yeah, the Keisha song from the first from
Yep.
Section 80. Like he's not really doing all the different voices though on this song, which is interesting.
Yeah, he does not, because he's known to have like different personas or alter egos within his music, where he brings in different point of views. But this is just him in his natural state, kind of discussing the issues that he has. The first chorus is about Dave, who passes away, and how that affected him in his life. And then, like you said, the second part is about Keisha passing away and his sister, or Keisha's sister, being upset with Lamar for putting that in the album.
Yeah.
And how he felt like he wanted to tell his story and how important it is. And then the third chorus is more about him in his personal life.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And it's just, and then there's an entire second part. There's the entire outro, which really sets up like the Jesus of it. Like,
yes, as you would put, yes, the Jesus of it. But
yeah, which is kind of crazy because like I don't really think of Kendrick Lamar as like an overly religious rapper, but I guess he is. Like, yeah, he really is.
And that's another one of the things that like I talked about. Like, it's so much to this album in particular, but all of his music where it's so much deeper than the surface level just looking at it. Like you can listen to these albums 10 times and you'll still find something new. And like he speaks about how important growing up out of his K dot phase and becoming Kendrick Lamar and like finding a higher being and finding God. Like his grandma played a big role in like convincing him you need to be religious. And there's so many things throughout this album and this song that is really focused on just like religion and actually believing in a higher being.
Yeah.
And how important that plays into the roles of the community that you're in.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, this does end with that prayer.
Yeah. And, you know, as speaking as someone who's a non believer, you know, what I find interesting is it kind of frames it as like religion is something that gives these, is what keeps good people good in these horrible scenarios.
Yes.
And like
that is a great way to put it.
Yeah, and like you know me, like I'm very much not into it, but like I've always had that perspective. I've always had the perspective that like religion can give good things to people. It can give them hope. It can give them, you know, what have you. But I think I think he has like a very pointed conceit here, and I can't speak against it, man. Like it's really something powerful. It's a very powerful song. It's 12 minutes long, and every time, like, I don't even think about it.
No, yeah. I don't care that it's 12 minutes long. Like I enjoy all of it.
Yeah. Now, and so like I think it climaxes with like this. Like this is the self actualization point. This is the point where he goes from being K. Dot to Kendrick Lamar,
Mm-hmm. Correct.
and then
This is the transition.
which makes perfect sense because the next song is Real,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I mean, like how more on the nose could you be?
This is the real him.
Yeah, this is
And it literally starts like the end of Dying of Thirst.
yeah,
Literally says this is starting a new life, your real life. Jumps into real. Like there's studies about this album discussing how it transitions into now he's Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, yeah. Now he's this adult who has survived this awful circumstance, right?
And survive is a great way to put it.
Yeah. And now this one, I do think it really does, uh, like tie up everything really, really well. You have the extended skits on the back end with, his mom and dad. Uh,
Somebody say Domino's.
yeah. Although, I'm just gonna say it. The I'm really, really real. That stuff gets a little annoying.
It does occur a lot throughout the
Yeah.
song.
Although,
It's
like,
not the best girl.
yeah, it's not the best one, but and the song ends with him with his mom telling him to take the music seriously at Top Dog,
Mm-hmm.
and also saying that they're from Chicago, which is cool. Like,
All right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's. I feel like this is where you get to like the end of the story, because like at the end of it, you hear his mom say, "All right, talk to you later, bye," and then you have the cassette tape. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's like the sound of the cassette tape, like going being rewound, and then you get to the last song of the album, one I really really like, Compton,
Mm-hmm.
which what's not to love. Like,
This is him now representing the city. The way I looked at it is like he's transcended past like I'm no longer just like the city boy that's stuck.
yeah,
Like a lot of people who are stuck in these situations.
now he's King
He
Kendrick.
is yeah, yep. He's King Kunta.
Yeah,
Like he's literally on top of the city. He's a representation. He has a big responsibility. And he now represents Compton.
yeah, he really does.
Almost like he took the baton
Yeah,
off of some of the older leaders.
and it's produced by Just Blaze and Dr. Dre, so
Literally handed off the baton.
literally handing off the baton. And let's be real, he's held it ever since.
Yeah, no, I was gonna take that.
Like he's gonna take it, and you know what? He's gonna give it to Baby Keem. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I need to see at least coming off of Kendrick, I need to see a significant jump in quality.
But yeah, it's just, man, like what a closer. To me, it feels like it's just like so triumphant. It's so like positive. It is just. I think like this song like kind of is why I love the album so much, because as real as it gets, it ends at this moment of triumph,
Mhm.
which is just I think people need that. All right, so that's the entire track list. Real quick before we, 'cause there's a couple questions I want to ask you, but
Okay.
I would say that the promotional single "The Recipe" it's not on the album officially.
But still.
That song's also a classic. That is every bit a classic.
What do you mean? Women, weed, and weather is not.
What do you mean this isn't poetry? He has a Pulitzer. It was for this.
Literally. You mean this is not rap? This is amazing.
It's an amazing track. Like I can see why it's not on the album. It doesn't fit the narrative even a little bit. But it's just it's proof that like when he wants to just make a radio single, he can. Like that it's not that he's not making it because he can't, he's making it because he doesn't want to. All right, so
What do
I
you mean
have.
by that?
What do you mean?
When you said that, like, because he doesn't want to, what do you mean?
I mean, like if Kendrick wanted to drop like if Kendrick wanted to be like Migos and drop charting music all the
Oh,
time,
I see what
he
you mean.
could.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
Oh, yeah.
could. He chooses not to. Like that's what I
Which
mean
I
by that.
appreciate, low key.
Yeah. All right. I'll wrap up. One last question for you.
Okay.
Do you think there's
Also,
any debate about this album being a classic? When was the last time you talked to someone who really, really loved hip hop who said this wasn't a classic?
I don't think that exists.
Yeah, I
I'm
just,
gonna be so serious. I don't think that exists.
I think there's a lot that's been said about it. I think there is ultimately the criticism that like there are just some people who this is not their favorite Kendrick album. Some people think Vivid Butterfly
Which is
is
fine.
even better, which hey, you know, uh, that's fine. That's a completely
It's
fine.
not a wrong answer.
Yeah, like I don't think that's objectionable at all. It's just
Mm.
you know, it's extreme.
Is this your favorite?
This is my favorite, 100%. This is my favorite Kendrick album. I totally see why people think To Pimp a Butterfly is better because I think like it's much more musically and lyrically complex.
With
And
that being said, I would like to retract one of my previous statements.
retract your previous statement.
I did go back and I've listened to the to Pimp a Butterfly many times, and I've said in one of the earlier episodes, it's not my favorite, and I don't think it should even be like in the top two, and that's kind of what I was saying before. But I have gone back and I listened to it, and I definitely changed my statement. It's probably one of the best rap albums I've ever listened to.
It's incredible. You know, like
It's impressive.
I compare it though. I compare it to like a classic like example of literature. You know, something like The Great Gatsby or The Grapes of Wrath. I read a lot, right? But I don't read shit like that a lot. You know what I mean? But it's
Mhm.
incredible. Like they're classics for a reason.
Right. It's impressive. You have to give it a time.
Yeah, you have to you don't have to like it, but you have to appreciate it.
Hmm.
All right.
Okay. Then I have one question.
Ask me your question.
And this is something that I was thinking about, and to be honest, I couldn't decide which one I want to go with. But do you think this is a tribute or a criticism of Compton and its surrounding neighborhoods?
I think it is both at the same time and intentionally.
Okay.
I think it is a I think it's a criticism of like what happens in Compton while also making sure to put it in a context of like knowing what has to change and understanding that the things that have to change can't be done by these people who are acting a certain way. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I do think it's a celebration of all the great things that happen in communities like that because you know there most places with a lot of resources, which Compton does not have, they tend not to have like a whole lot of community. Like the people tend not to be as connected. And I think this does a good job of like, yeah, condemning the violence in Compton, but also showing that there's a community and a culture there that should be
Hmm.
appreciated and respected.
Well put.
What I do. Ugh. All right. Purvis, this was the longest topic we've ever done by a
No,
lot.
it wasn't. No
100%.
way.
We
I'm
got
like scared to ask how long we've been.
we've only been going an hour and a half, but we started talking about Kendrick Lamar at like 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so like it's a normal length podcast, but we had like nothing. We talked about this the whole time. You
A
want to
lot
do
of
it?
rambling about how much I like this.
Well, it's a perfect album. Like it is. It's almost boring to talk about because of how perfect it is.
There's nothing like even There's,
Yeah. The only
there's no
times
feedback I can give. There's no negative like.
there's no there's no criticism. There really isn't. Even the songs that just don't grab me as much as other ones. I don't know
Mhm.
if I want to change it. Maybe get a singer on the hook on Real. But like beyond that, like that one note.
Everything else is fine.
Everything else literally perfect. Could not have done it better.
Okay.
This is
Well,
I've just I struggle to think of like better albums released in my lifetime.
yeah.
I mean, obviously
It's,
there are some that people are going to, that everyone's going to have different ones. And yeah, there are some that I think get quite up there, but none that truly pass it.
rightfully so.
Oh my god. You want to do our recs?
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
am ready.
Let's do our recommendations and then we can go to bed.
Oh, all right, bet.
All
The
right.
first one I'm gonna do is Dolly by Tierra Whack.
Ooh,
This
good
is one I
one.
just recently found. Yeah, this is a good one.
Oh, it's a banger?
It's a well, I, I would not say banger. That's not how I would describe it.
Oh, but
I
I
would
just meant like in the sense that it's good.
yes, it is very good. It's Dolly by Tierra Whack is more of a song that I personally connect with, where it's a very straightforward message, where it's just kind of saying like I'm kind of too busy to be in a relationship right now, and things are not lining up. But like, will you wait for me until I'm ready? I think it's a dope song.
That's sick. My
All right,
first
what's yours?
song, gonna get this out of the way early because you're gonna yell at me. It's "Die for It" with Belly, The Weeknd, and Nas. So good.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just playing.
No, so
Okay,
good.
I'll give you that. I'll
Perfect
give you
song.
that one.
Perfect moody song. It's too short though. I always have to listen to it 2 or 3 times to get the vibe I want.
To really let it hit.
Yeah, to truly
Okay.
marinate in my own emotions.
Then what I would say, my second song, believe it or not, the last Juice WRLD album that came, I had not listened to. It was on one of my it was on my queue, album queue to finally go back and listen to it. And I would say Go Hard 2.0 is a really dope song off that album. I surprisingly, and taking a step back, I surprisingly didn't like the album that much. I don't know if you heard it. The Fighting Demons.
Hmm. I'll have to listen to it.
Personally,
Juice WRLD's Fighting
personally
Demons.
for me, yeah, I think it's the most recent. I don't know. I kind of found it distasteful
Hmm.
because a lot of it was about how he died, and it was not easy to listen to
Hmm.
because it was still in that phase of like him proudly rapping about doing lean and stuff.
Yeah, and like that stuff's harder to listen to like after.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially given how Juice WRLD died.
exactly.
It's
But the
rough.
song individually is it's okay, but yeah, the album, I don't know if it hit the same.
I feel that. Certainly have. Okay, so my next one, doing a bit of a throwback. I'm gonna say "Smooth" by D'Angelo. I mentioned last week that I've been listening to that album a lot, and I still am.
Yeah,
And now I'm recommending a song, "Smooth." It's incredible.
by D'Angelo.
By
Okay,
D'Angelo. Yeah, fucking incredible.
but, but. Um, I'm gonna go back to my trend of always trying to introduce a new artist to people. My third song is gonna be by someone called Aaron Ray. It's Arin and then Ray. He had an album that came out called Platinum Fire. And man, this whole album bangs. It's really good.
Oh
It's
wow,
really, really good.
send that to me.
Um, I got you. I will send this over. My song that I would pick, if I had to do one, at least for right now, I would do HMU, which is Hit Me Up. That's featuring Childish Major.
Oh wow.
Really, really good song. It's
Okay.
got this whole album has Ty Dolla Sign, Dram, YG, Childish Major, and Sir, since we mentioned him earlier.
Incredible.
So it's got some decent features. He's low key. I would say he's on the rise up. I found him randomly out of nowhere. This man has like a million monthly listeners.
Wow.
But it's all quality.
I'll have to listen. That sounds like good. That sounds good. That sounds like something I would like.
I got you.
All right. My last one. Because, not so much this week, but like the weather is getting better. It's starting to get to the season where you can drive your windows down.
Facts. Next week's
So,
going to be 80.
yeah. So, I am recommending officially one of my favorite drive with the windows down songs, and that is Temptation by Joey Badass.
Wow. I haven't heard that song.
It's so good. So good.
He said he's coming out with something this summer, right?
I know. I'm very excited. I love Joey Badass.
It's gonna be a good summer.
I feel like that's one of the artists that like I don't talk about as much, but I like Joey Badass a lot.
He's real political. That's something that I had to kind of like grow on me.
Yeah. Well, that's who I am.
I know. I
All right, Purvis. This has been another week.
Another episode? Yeah.
We got a new one. We got big ones coming up. So
next week should be interesting.
Eat good meals, start training.
Some start training.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard, man. You're gonna have to listen to a lot of music. You gotta start doing those, snapping to jazz and then immediately putting on do-rag and listening to Baby Keem.
I'm gonna do both at the same time. Just kind of mentally prepare myself for some great music.
Oh my god. Alright, guys. I think that's all for us tonight. Send us stuff. We loved hearing about it. And yeah. That is the show.
We're out.